This is 1803 Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale. As soon as you walk in the door, there's the living room to the left, stairs right ahead, go up and down, and a dining room to the right. Take a quick look at the door, which is a little dirty, needs repainting. In general, the house has some deferred maintenance here and there. But we'll go through this way first. So we have a very large living room. They have large sofas, a large coffee table, still can fit everything. I really like the stained glass and the leaded glass back here. I'll try and go a little closer to see it. Just looks pretty. They have screens behind them. Always recommend getting a plexiglass on the outside to kind of give it a faux double pane. It has nice built-ins. It's a very cute little living room. This window here, large double pane vinyl. And as you can see, there's a lot of traffic on Monongahela Ave. It's one of Swissvale's main arteries. Off to the side of the living room, you can see there's the baseboard radiator heat, forced hot water. This brick is a veneer, it's all fake. Don't know why, it just is. They added this full bath downstairs, and just mostly needs to be cleaned. Some of the caulking needs to be redone, but other than cleaning the grout, it looks like the grout's in good shape. It just needs to be cleaned, especially like up there. A little bit moldy. We got some very fancy wallpaper. I'm not a big fan of carpet in a bathroom either. But to each their own, especially when it's not matching. I don't really know how you would use this little room down here. It's kind of small. There's a big closet. Maybe like I really don't know. Maybe an office. It's big enough that you could put a twin size bed down here if you really wanted to, and you can shut it off. So maybe. Over this way into the dining room. Got the textured plaster finish on the ceiling. More wallpaper. Nice big windows. They have lots of blinds and curtains and things to make it hard to see that there's a bunch of natural light that would come into this room. It's pretty nice. This is the back door. I'm not going to open it right now because it's tied to the alarm and it's very annoying. It's original cabinets. Nothing. I'm not a huge fan of the doors and the ornateness and the pulls. They're all just kind of meh, in my opinion. Very old stove, electric. I would say that it is nearing the end of its life. The whole kitchen could be remodeled. None of the outlets are GFCI. Yeah. And more radiator heats. It's hard to say how well they are working or not right now. It's a perfectly lovely day in Pittsburgh. So heat and AC are off. Go down to the basement. There's a side door that goes to the driveway. One thing the basement has going for it is its tall ceilings. This is the laundry chute where it terminates. When I'm 5'3", I try and reach all the way up flat-footed, and I'm still a solid, 6 to 8 inches away from touching the joists. So, very good clearance. To the joist, it's almost 8 feet, but there are a bunch of things that dip down. But so I don't think even a tall person would feel uncomfortable down here. The concrete on the floors is in relatively good shape. We have some very minor movement in the mortar. It's stemming mostly off of the windows and, you know, different materials as they expand at different rates. That pressure gets relieved into the mortar, and so you get these little hairline staircase cracks. I'm not really all that concerned about them. They are just there. It's a cinder foundation, so you don't have to parge coat it, but if you did, I think that this basement would be a lot drier. You could just dry lock everything. That looks like what they did at one point, this white paint. But it's definitely deteriorating and some moisture is coming through. It's kind of smelly down here, if I'm being honest. Over here on the electrical panel, we have a Pushmatic 100 amp system. They don't... at the time when Pushmatic was made, they were considered a premium upgrade. They're very expensive to work on. Electricians don't like them. A lot of them will tell you just to replace them. It is fine, but we have the service cable here that's disconnected and old and gross. I'm not sure what is going on. There is electric in the house, so I assume that they just left the old service cable here, or maybe that's something that goes to a garage. I'm not sure, because the service cable entrance is right here and it's a newer one. All looks pretty good. The conduit is a mix of conduit. We got some metal sheathing, we got some plastic Romex sheathing. There's likely some ungrounded wiring throughout the house, but probably not all of it. We have washer and dryer hookups down here. Again, you can see the salt deposits coming through the wall and the water. Over here, more disconnected old conduit. A lot of the copper piping still has the old captain's wheel shutoffs that should be replaced by ball joints. But, you know, that's all pretty minor stuff. This is that 220 line for the electric dryer. Got it. Joists look in good shape. I'm not seeing signs of termite damage. The steel beam's in really good shape. No rust or corrosion on it. The supports look fine. Structurally, I would say the house is sound. It just has other kind of various issues. You can see water comes through this glass block window, and you can kind of see it just builds up down here too. It's certainly coming through kind of everywhere. The water meter, this is the main water line. It looks like it's a supply line is lead, and we have a boiler that's old enough to be my grandpa. I mean, this thing is ancient. I don't have a date on it, but I've not seen a boiler this big in a long time. We also have a fairly old hot water tank. Where did I see the date? There it is. The build date was in 2004. So this guy's seen a lot of life. Positive note though, these little rings, they aren't showing any signs of melting, which means that this vent is not backdrafting, which is good. Lots of cobwebs, you know, various basement-y things going on. Over here, we have the main sewer line. It is ABS plastic, and it looks like they dug up the ground here and replaced the sewer line, which is great. A little bit of sprawling happening on the concrete. This is underneath the side porch that goes to the kitchen. And what happens is all these lines that you see are just from the concrete forming board. So they put wood up there, they set the concrete, take the boards down. But inside of the concrete is steel rebar. And over time, if it's moist enough and it goes through, that starts to rust, and that expansion causes the concrete to pop like this. And you just need some, cement patching to go through there. And it's really not in bad shape. I see much worse than this. They did puncture a bunch of holes, and then they didn't fill it back in with the concrete, like over here with all of this piping, which is probably fine, but to be noted nonetheless. On this one interior wall of in between the coal cellars is a terracotta instead of cinder block, but it's also an interior wall, so it really doesn't matter, but it is a different material. And inside of here we have one stress crack that's again going horizontal. It's not very wide, it's coming off of this window again. It's not too shocking. And then we have this one much thinner crack that's breaking a cinder, but it actually only breaks one, and it's a really thin hairline crack on the porch coming off of where they put a giant hole on this. So it's not, again, I don't think the walls are moving or doing anything crazy. It could be sealed and cleaned. The whole place could be cleaned. Okay. Oh, this light switch is fun. Anyways. Okay. Okay. We'll go upstairs. This is a tall tale sign of knob and tube. These old switches that are heavy and fat make a clicking noise when you open and shut them. First bedroom on the second floor. Very reasonable size for the smaller bedroom. You could fit a queen off of the wall next to the door if you wanted to. Love the old handles, the glass, just really pretty. Smaller closet. Still bigger than some Pittsburgh closets, but smaller. We have this room. Another smaller closet. Slightly bigger footprint. You can see some of the lead paint chipping. And you can see that there's two twins side by side with a nightstand each on this wall for context of size. Lots of small plaster cracks. Again, structurally not too concerning. They're mostly coming off of windows, and plaster tends to dry out and crack, and so really very expected normal wear. The blue bathroom with a somewhat newer vanity. Some of the tiles have moved a bit. There's a vinyl floor down here. Yeah, like this. So they've done like tiny amounts of work here. We have another plaster crack. But again, it needs to be cleaned up. So this caulking has caulking on top of caulking. It should be removed and recaulked. The grout lines look fine in the bathtub, or like this area. There's some missing grout kind of randomly, like over here, following this line, but all kind of touch-up-y stuff. And again, like there's a couple tiles just like slightly moving because of when they mounted the sink to it. And they did do some regrouting kind of sloppily over here. Open up this line. Small Linen closet, I mean. A cedar aligned tiny closet. And then next bedroom, same size basically as the first bedroom, just catty corner. Again, it's hard to see all of the natural light that would be coming through here because of all the big blinds and stuff that they have, but really good light throughout the whole house. Coming into here, decent sized bedroom, probably about the same size as the other one. That's the second bedroom. That's catty corner from this one. There's no ceiling light on this one. There's just the sconces over the fireplace. One of them's light bulb is missing. While we're here, you can see the front porch roof, which is in architectural style asphalt shingle. The granulation looks fine-ish. It's losing some spots here and there, but not terrible. I'd certainly say this roof probably has another 10 years or so at least, but it's not as brand new as one might think. There's cool little built-ins here. They're all the same basically, just in between the two bedrooms. Some sweet green carpet. See some of the old paint behind that paint. Oh, it smells bad up here. Oh. It smells like wet grandma, and I hope that makes sense. Closet. You can see a 2-prong outlet over here. So just kind of, again, some older electric randomly throughout the house, but I do think some of it is going to be fine and some of it's going to be old. It's good ceiling height. I can, if I'm on flat foot, I'm about 2 inches, maybe 3 when I reach all the way up before touching the ceiling. I can easily touch it whenever I stand on my tippy toes. More built-ins, but those types of built-ins don't have the right kind of insulation around them, so you pretty much just want to leave them closed all the time, otherwise it's just going to be super hot up here. It's already pretty warm, and it's a nice day outside. Which tells me that in the middle of summer that room is hot, and probably just always going to be smelly. Okay. Yeah, so older mechanicals, some older wiring, lead paint kind of just everywhere, needs to be scraped. And there's a lead line. Those are the major points to this house. Exterior-wise, it's really loud outside, so I'm just gonna give the cliff notes. They're doing some construction outside, so I don't think it's always super loud. But the pointing all looked fine. The soffit and fascia looked fine. The roof looked okay. The roof over the garage has a lot of biological growth from the tree that overhangs it, and the garage just looks kind of meh condition. Happy to go through that in more detail in the next video. But this has been 1803 Monongahela.